8 signs that could indicate Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain disorder steadily escalating among aging populations. As cases rise, knowing subtle early signs allows timely intervention to slow further decline. This video details 8 common indicators that may signal Alzheimer's onset, spanning memory, concentration, time awareness, and emotional changes. We will also overview 6 lifestyle modifications from physical activity to stress reduction that current research confirms can deter full-blown disease development by up to 60%. Tuning into mild cognitive shifts and proactively strengthening neurological resilience prepares us to combat a condition projected to triple in prevalence over upcoming decades. Here are 8 signs that could indicate Alzheimer's. Memory problems. One potential sign is memory problems, particularly with new information. Forgetting names, events, skills, or repeating conversations may indicate Alzheimer's-related memory impairment. While occasional lapses are normal, consistent issues recalling recent data are concerning. This manifests as struggling to retain details like appointments, commitments made, or instructions just given. Names of acquaintances or even close friends and family inexplicably slip one's mind. More memorization-heavy tasks like operating new technology or learning dance steps become increasingly frustrating as the steps fade moments after practice. Everyday abilities like driving familiar routes get confusing too. Previously lively discussions taper off as you forget opinions just shared or questions posed by others. Despite acknowledging someone seconds ago, their name disappears by the next time you reference them. Days blend together as you lose track of what happened earlier in the week or whether you took your medication already. Although everybody misplaces keys on occasion, frequently losing items recently in hand signals short-term memory dysfunction. Difficulties concentrating. Another sign is difficulties concentrating. Having trouble staying focused on tasks signals possible Alzheimer's development. Losing a train of thought mid-sentence or forgetting what you just read plagues mental stamina. Attempting projects like assembling furniture or planning events becomes overwhelmingly confusing as attention wavers between steps. Normally simple chores, like prepping a meal, are dragged out over double the time needed, as you lose place repeatedly. Phone calls get disrupted as unrelated thoughts pull you off topic or divert you mid-story. Names, words, or items you intended to retrieve fail to materialize despite mental strain to recall them. Overfocusing occurs too, getting excessively wrapped up in details yet unable to see the big picture goals you started with. Monitoring time. Monitoring time also becomes problematic. Alzheimer's patients gradually lose the ability to track time, first forgetting the day or date, eventually the month or year. Checking calendars and schedules more often breeds unease rather than reassurance when discovered details disagree with your perception multiple times per week. Appointments are accidentally missed as you misjudge preparation time needed or write down incorrect times that make no sense later. Basing clothing choices on inaccurate weather assumptions from failing to check forecasts or recall season details heightens confusion. Seeking root causes. You remark on the unusually short grocery store checkout time before noticing the clock says 40 minutes have actually elapsed. The inability to accurately predict event sequencing also unsettles plans and routines. For example, you might think it logical to purchase concert tickets for an upcoming act only to realize the performance already occurred last month. Or setting out breakfast foods at dinner time as meal times blur together. Spatial awareness. Spatial awareness diminishes as well. Not registering distances or the positioning of objects relative to each other manifests first. Consistently bumping into furniture despite living in the same home for years marks this early phase. Similarly, misjudging door clearance and twisting ankles on curbs are becoming increasingly common. Soon, judging vehicle speed and distance while changing highway lanes will become challenging. Either dangerously cutting off other cars or braking excessively underscores navigation errors. Consistently losing commonly used items, like wallets and keys, and the inability to retrace steps to find them, soon follow as internal mapping functions falter too. Standing in the same room and questioning where something could possibly be, hours after holding it, points to a neurological disconnect. Retracing trips to confirm the whereabouts of needed items rarely leads back to accurate locations without others guiding visually. In later stages, individuals may become fully unsure of their location at times. Language issues. Language issues emerge too, both verbal and written. Vocabulary recall deteriorates, even for frequently used terms. Word-finding difficulties make conveying ideas arduous, as descriptions awkwardly substitute for inaccessible nouns and verbs. Expressive aphasia sets in as once automatic language production falters. Answering questions or following stories requires intense concentration, as words literally fail to come. Reading comprehension similarly suffers, as retaining sentence meanings strains mental capacity. Writing showcases the struggle as well when rereading paragraphs, revealing disjointed repetition being relied upon, when precise phrases remain elusive. Discussions become difficult, as word retrieval falters or sentences trail off. Searching for a book title that you know well, or the name of a longtime neighbor increasingly dead ends, thought momentum derailing social exchanges. Even common sayings that typically flow reflexively stick on your tongue. This progresses to stuttering and confusion following conversations, as memory glitches compound communication problems. Within several months, noticeable deterioration in language expression and understanding creeps up if Alzheimer's is destabilizing the neural networks supporting speech. Emotional changes. Emotional changes also occur, including anxiety, unease, aggression, and irritability. The reasons for these are unclear but likely involve Alzheimer's effects on brain regions regulating mood. Emotional regulation falters as new gaps between intent and outcome are unreliably bridged. Minor frustrations trigger blow-ups while larger issues inexplicably fail to register. Laughing inappropriately frequently marks difficulty gauging situational tone. Someone else's visible distress sparks anger or accusations of oversensitivity. Your own mild disappointment swells rapidly into feelings of hopelessness and defeat. Persistent edginess underlies volatile outbursts that shock longtime friends and family. Avoiding people and events. With the self-consciousness of accumulating struggles, some withdraw socially to hide difficulties. Avoiding people and events prevents embarrassment over spotty memory and concentration during interactions. Conversations once enjoyed have become minefields of uncertainty about following along or contributing meaningfully. Comparisons imagining your peers' intellect and tact stir shame. Rather than reveal shortcomings, you decline participating to retain the past confidence others have in your abilities. But the isolation exacerbates depression as losses accumulate for abilities, independence, and relationships altered by disease progression. Sleep pattern changes. Finally, sleep patterns evolve with time. Initially, circadian rhythms get disturbed as anxious thought ruminations begin plaguing nights. Sleep onset delay or waking too early leads to restorative non-REM phases while kindling stressful fight or flight reactions. While partially due to Alzheimer's worsening emotional regulation, research confirms plaques and tangles infiltrating sleep-center brain regions directly disrupt regulation of sleep-wake cycles. This manifests as frequently resting for only several hours or struggling to wake despite spending 12 hours in bed. In either case, deprivation of needed sleep accelerates cognitive impairment while fueling several of the other covered signs, like concentration lapses and memory dysfunction. Transitioning from wired nights to nodding off unintentionally during daytime mirrors degenerating neurological wiring and directing appropriate sleep. We've seen 8 signs that could indicate Alzheimer's. Here are 6 lifestyle modifications. Physical activity. Physical activity is key, not just for fitness but for brain benefits too. Exercise releases growth factors, activating brain cell regeneration while improving blood flow and lowering inflammation, both protecting against and slowing Alzheimer's disease progression. Without prescribed activity, gradual cortical atrophy accelerates while plaque proteins accumulate faster. Workouts as short as 30 minutes daily markedly reduce Alzheimer's and dementia risk by up to 50%, especially if started early between ages 20 to 50 before onset. Ideally, continue aerobic, strength training, and coordination exercises consistently across adulthood. The myriad positive impacts counteract dozens of factors that otherwise expedite neurological decline. Exercise lowers cardiovascular disease risks like diabetes and stroke that heighten Alzheimer's development. Strength training builds neural networks in the brain, enabling flexible thought pattern shifts. New cell formation triggered in the hippocampus improves learning and memory retention, combating primary symptoms. Choreography dancing integrates visual input, balance reactions, musical memory, physical movements, and emotional expression for unparalleled whole brain engagement. Mental stimulation. Mental stimulation is equally vital for deterring neurological decline. Activities requiring planning, decision-making, learning, and manipulation of information resist plaque accumulation while activating connections between brain networks. The adage, "use it or lose it," powerfully applies to neurological health. Deliberately exercising underutilized cognitive domains guards against atrophied regions, leaving voids where specialized functions were once easily accessed. Games, crafts, artistic pursuits, reading, and socializing present excellent outlets for continual, diverse cognitive engagement. Opt for ones featuring novelty and increasing difficulty to avoid mental ruts that fail to challenge thinking. Supplement old hobbies with emerging interests that require digesting new instructions and maneuvering unfamiliar tools or techniques. Stress reduction. Stress reduction techniques have demonstrated effects on preventing hippocampal volume loss that contributes to Alzheimer's progression. Deep breathing, mindfulness meditation, yoga, or just spending time relaxing outdoors modulate stress hormones and inflammation while enhancing parasympathetic nervous activity, all protective against cognitive losses. Chronic stress floods the brain with cortisol while fueling free radical damage to fragile neuron sheaths, critical for signaling. By managing overwhelm, brain structures and performance defend against deterioration, compounding Alzheimer's vulnerability. Approaching tension triggers consciously, instead of reacting, gives space for physiological reset instead of perpetual cycles further disordering critical neurological pathways. Refocusing attention from anxiety rumination towards sensory inputs, like bird songs, candle aromas, or pet fur textures engages alternative circuits that let pressure valves release. Overall stress moderation repels myriad unwelcome dynamics that exacerbate neurological disorders. Balanced nutrition. Balanced nutrition emphasizes vegetables, fruits, nuts, fish, poultry, whole grains, and healthy fats like olive oil. These provide antioxidants, fiber, omega-3s, and various vitamins and minerals that reduce plaque formation while supporting optimal neurological functioning. Nutrients like vitamins E, C, B12, folate, and magnesium enhance neuron signaling, memory, and mood regulation involved in Alzheimer's. Antioxidants from colorful produce combat inflammation and free radical damage to cell structures. Fiber cleans blood vessels and promotes gut bacteria synthesizing mood-boosting serotonin. Omega-3s increase cerebral blood flow and neuron growth factors for resiliency. Avoiding heavily processed foods keeps blood sugar, insulin, and inflammation minimized too. Diets high in saturated fats and simple carbs provoke recurring blood glucose spikes. Eliminating refined grains, sweets, oils, and fatty meats thwarts this risk pathway. Emphasizing whole food nourishment maximizes vital phytonutrients that bolster neurological defenses. Variety ensures minimal nutritional shortfalls or excesses that jeopardize mental function. Quality sleep. Quality sleep enables the clearing of Alzheimer's-associated amyloid protein accumulation in the brain that occurs during deep non-REM rest. Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night prevents escalating plaque buildup and saves mental sharpness. Alzheimer's pathology includes disrupted melatonin signals that regulate sleep-wake homeostasis. Reduced orexin neurotransmitters also dampen arousal pathways. Addressing these imbalances early is vital to impeding the disease's trajectory. Establishing healthy sleep hygiene by limiting electronics use, caffeine, and large nighttime meals helps achieve restorative rest. Daily movement and stress reduction techniques also relieve factors interfering with quality sleep. Tracking sleep data like efficiency and latency reveals disruptive trends that warrant intervention before permanent sleep center damage, allows unrest to accelerate cognitive unraveling. Social connection. Finally, social connection literally helps build brain resilience, lowering Alzheimer's risks by an estimated 12%. Face-to-face interpersonal engagement and companionship release hormones that stimulate neural networks while regulating heart rate. Social bonds also mitigate the harmful effects of stress through emotional support. Loneliness conversely doubles dementia risk through exacerbating anxiety, depression, and inactivity, all attributable to Alzheimer's progression themselves. Having regular friendly visits, volunteering, or participating in group activities supplies meaningful social ties with cognitive gains. Conversation inherently stretches thinking capacity via viewpoint exchange and problem solving. Semantic neural networks fire more adaptively, providing reinforcement. Laughter triggers global endorphins, while eye contact elicits trust hormones, biologically soothing emotional centers. Sustaining community integration makes maintaining cognitive rigor through activity and dialogue a welcome lifestyle pillar rather than an isolated chore. Conclusion. We covered 8 warning signs suggesting Alzheimer's onset, including memory issues, worsening concentration, disrupted time perception, and language problems. Also recognize emotional changes, social withdrawal, sleep pattern shifts, and spatial confusion as causes for evaluation. Evidence confirms simple daily lifestyle factors like exercise, enrichment activities, stress management, balanced eating, purposeful sleep, and community engagement significantly empower long-term brain health. Implement these now to help defy the statistics and protect the activities and abilities that give life meaning. Please like, share your experience in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos on health. Together, we are winning health.